everyone. Welcome or welcome back to Novel Idea. My name is Dia and today I have a weekly wrap-up for you. So, I forgot one book last week when I was doing my wrap-up, so I'm gonna do that this week and try to not forget any that I have to roll over into next week. And then I got a couple of things kind of belatedly for my birthday, and I wanted to show you really quick because I love them. My youngest daughter, she's a great gift giver. I got this in the mail this week. Isn't it just so sweet? So it is a bird feeder, and I got a little bag of bird seed to go with it. So now I just need to figure out a way to hang it up. But isn't it just the sweetest? I just love it. So I got that. And then my husband and I were out looking at a tea shop, and he saw me admiring something, and he went ahead and picked it up for me and said to think of it as a birthday gift. So that's what I'm doing. So I have a nightstand, and one of the things that I always have on my nightstand is water. Oh boy, that was a rough one. Words are hard. I found this little cup, which is actually for brewing tea in. It comes with a strainer and everything, but I just offhandedly made the comment, boy, that'd be nice next to the bed so that it doesn't get flies and things in it. And so now I just have my cup of water next to the bed. I love it. All right, cute things out of the way. So now I want to just go over what I've managed to finish this week, what I'm still in the middle of, what's up next probably, if they come in from the library anyway. So that's what we are doing. The first one that I forgot last week is Bryony and Roses by T. Kingfisher. Bryony and Roses is kind of a frightening take on Beauty and the Beast, and her take on it is so unique. I've never heard of one quite like it. I really enjoyed both of the characters in this, both Beast and Beauty. I liked her sisters in this, which is something that you don't get in the original tale, and I just had such a good time. It's short. It's like a novella length, and I liked it so much. So I would highly recommend anybody that likes something that's just a little bit scary. And not really, but it is, I guess, if you're not used to that kind of thing. And so I would just recommend it. I just thought it was wonderful. What a great retelling it was. So the next one that I finished was A Likely Story. This is book 6, I think, in the Library Lovers series by Jenn McKinlay. I think we're done. I don't know for sure if Michelle wants to go on. We're kind of disenchanted with the way the last couple of books have gone. We may try one more, but it's not getting better as the series goes on. It feels like it's kind of losing some of the things that we loved about the first book especially. And so I don't know if we're gonna go on or not. So Michelle, if you're watching, you let me know. If you want to go on, I will. This one was about a couple of older men who are brothers who have lived in the exact same location their whole lives. And they're kind of removed from society. One of them is handicapped, and they are also hoarders a little bit. And one of them ends up dying, and it looks like a murder, and so everything needs to be investigated. But just like in one of the previous books, I don't know if it was the last one, I think it was the last one, but we just didn't get all of the pieces. So it wasn't until it pretty much was the very end, again, when we were getting the full story and had all of the characters in play. And neither one of us really cared for that kind of what was happening. We've enjoyed our time in it, just not this last little bit. The next one that I finished was the Sprite and the Gardener. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I need to go grab my bingo board so that I can show you which books are going on the bingo board for what square. Hang on. Okay, so Bryony and Roses is going to go for a standalone sci-fi or fantasy novel. A Likely Story is going to go for mystery, and Sprite and the Gardener is for the graphic novel space. Ah, the joys of living in an apartment building. Sorry about that, guys. I guess it'll get taken care of eventually. Sprite and the Gardener is by, I want to say, Whitt and Rye something. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. Very cute illustrations. I wish the color palette would have been a little more garden-esque, but the illustrations were very cute. And it started out just kind of as a one-page story, and the author developed it into a full novel with the illustrator. And so the two of them were very much in it together. And it's about a little sprite named Wisteria, and she's just new to the neighborhood. She's just kind of showed up, and the other sprites sit around and leave the gardening up to the humans. And she wants to be more hands-on. She wants to be more involved. And so she finds a girl who is trying to help her mother bring this garden back to life, because her mama is having to work a lot more hours and doesn't have time for the garden, and it's kind of fallen into a little bit of disrepair. And so Wisteria and she start to work together, and the other sprites find out and they want to help, and pretty soon everybody's involved, and it was wonderful. I loved the story. I loved the illustrations, like I said, and it was just the sweetest story of community and how we are all needed to be working together to make a difference. And yeah, it was great. Highly recommend. Then I read Lisa and Lottie, and this is by Erich, is it Kastner? I think it's Kastner. And this is translated from the German, and I'm going to put a picture up here of all of that because I can't remember who it's translated by. But this is the story of The Parent Trap. And this is the original story, and it was written in the 1940s. It's just this lovely little story about these twins who are separated at birth when their parents are divorced. And they meet at summer camp. Wonderful little book. The beginning is very close to The Parent Trap, and then it kind of veers. Still an absolutely wonderful story, and was for my space of summer camp on my bingo board. All right, then I read Age of Innocence. This is the Patreon pick for Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia's Patreon group, and this was the classic that everybody chose. I have read Age of Innocence before, and actually out of all of Wharton's books, it's probably my favorite. It's probably the one that I like the most out of the ones that I have read. So I have read House of Mirth, Age of Innocence, and Ethan Frome all the way through. I have DNF'd Summer and The Children. Wharton is one of those authors who's a little bit of a paradox because she's got wonderful writing. Her writing is so descriptive and easy to follow, and you really feel immersed in the world when you're reading her, but her characters are just not likable. And a lot of times the subject matter I find with Wharton, I don't really like. It's not what I want to get involved in. And so she is somebody that I can only take in small bites. And so this was a small enough bite. Penny, one of the commenters on the channel, you'll see her quite a bit. She said, she messaged me and said, "So you got this one out of the way right away, huh?" And I did, yes, because I knew that it was just something that I didn't want hanging over my head, really. I didn't want it lasting till the end of the month. In case you don't know what it is about, it's about a young man who's very upright and kind of has this sense of what is acceptable and for the upper crust of society and how they should behave. And he wants to be the best of the best in that sense. He wants to have this integrity and this nobility kind of about him. And he is just getting engaged at the beginning of the book. Then he meets the cousin of his fiance. And when he meets the cousin, he is both put off by her and intrigued by her as well. And so we get to see kind of the development of his life and the way that it goes as a result of this infatuation, and the way that it goes, you know, from the time that he is a very young man, early 20s, into later on in life when he is probably late 50s and early 60s in there. And I don't want to give anything away. It takes place in New York. I don't know if I said that. I finally finished Words of Mercury. I don't want to say finally. I've been working on it for quite a while and just taking my time with it. And this is by Patrick Leigh Fermor. And I liked this so much, so much. I really, really like his writing. This is excerpts from his different novels, different essays that he has written, different magazine articles that he has written. It's all about his travels. It's just done in this voice that is very positive and uplifting and sunshiny. And I just really, really liked it a lot. I'm really looking forward to reading more by him. Then I read Skyhunter. This is by Marie Lu. It is a young adult science fiction novel. And it is about a displaced society that is being displaced by an entity that is trying to come into power over several different lands, several different peoples, and they have a mutant weapon that is supposed to be on their side, and the displaced society captures that weapon. And as a result of that, he chooses to fight for the displaced and the ones being displaced. I like Marie Lu's writing, but it is very YA. And so that was a little frustrating for me. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. There are times when I really enjoy a YA novel, but it isn't very often, and I keep trying them and keep being disappointed with just the angst and the, just all of that turmoil that young adults go through as they're trying to figure out who likes them and why they do or don't, and should they like them also, and are they the kind of person that I should like? I just not my kind of thing. So even though I thought it was a great story, that part really bugged me. Then I read Spice Road, which is a new release, and I've heard lots and lots and lots about it. Oh, I didn't tell you. So Words of Mercury is for short stories. That's the square that it goes in. And then Age of Innocence is for modern classic. And I already did Words of Mercury. Skyhunter was for library book. And now Spice Road is going to be Buzzy book. So Spice Road is about a set of siblings who live in a secret magical city, a secret city that is peopled with people who do magic. And they all kind of have a certain talent, a certain gifting, a certain bent toward one specific kind of magic. And so there are some that can talk to animals, and there's some that can manipulate metals, and just all of that. So it's a soft magic system. The brother, it's two sisters and a brother. The older sister and the brother are in kind of this society of warriors who protect the people of the city. So they're almost like soldiers, but they're even beyond that. They're like the Green Berets kind of thing. And they end up losing their brother. He disappears, and they think that he is dead when the two sisters kind of stumble upon some information that points to the fact that he is still alive. And so they have to travel beyond their city and beyond the magical barriers that protect their city in order to find their brother and bring him home. And there's a lot more to it than that, of course. Again, YA, at least it feels YA to me because of all the angst, because there's this relationship that it's not really a relationship, but should it be a relationship? Probably not. Do they like me? Why do they act this way one time and not this way the next? And I just don't like that. I wish that we could have really good stories without all of that other stuff. So I enjoyed this so much when it came to the siblings and the whole idea of the story being that these two are leaving the many to go find the one and to bring him home, to bring him back into the fold kind of thing, and to find out the true story of what really happened. And there's some political maneuverings in this, and there is of course adventure, and there are some battles, and it was wonderful in every way except for this relationship that is throughout the book. And so that is what made it hard for me and kind of brought it down a little bit. That's what I finished. Those are all the books that I finished this last week. So now let me talk to you about what I am in the middle of still. Still reading Knowledge of the Holy. We're over halfway. Really loving our live discussions. We're having a live discussion every single week about the chapters that we've read that week. So next Saturday and the Saturday after at 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern, we here in the United States, we will be having our discussion, our live discussions about our Knowledge of the Holy chapters. And it has been rich, and it has been convicting, and it has been such a good reminder for me of why I like Tozer's writing and what I believe and why I believe it. It's just been so good. So if you would like to join in, I will leave all the information for that linked in the description box so that you guys can get that. I'm also still in the middle of Borges, Jorge Luis Borges' Labyrinths. Did I say that Tiffany was the one doing Knowledge of the Holy with me? I'm doing it with her. It was her idea to do the read along. So, and then Borges I'm doing with Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot and Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. And I am enjoying it a lot more now that I've kind of gotten my Borges sea legs, so to speak. I think that we're a little over halfway. I think we're probably at about 60% of the way through the book. We only have just like 3 more stories, and then we have a few essays and a few parables, and we'll be done. I'm also reading Ferris Wheel's Stories. This is by Courtney from Courtney Reads, and I'm reading it with Kelly from Kelly Reads a Lot and Kelly Ann Mitchell from Kelly Ann Mitchell. It is about a young girl. She passes away, and that she ends up in this afterlife world where she is having to go on this Ferris wheel that drops her off in kind of a new plane, a new land each time, and she kind of has to figure out why she's there. And so that is another one that we're reading. I just started today The Go-Between by LP Hartley. And I started this because of Nicole over at, I think her channel is called A Day of Small Things. maybe it's a day of small beginnings. Small things, a day of small things. I think I'll put it on the screen. But she reviewed it recently and really, really liked it. And so she also gave it as a good summertime read. And so I had had it on hold since the first time that she reviewed it, and it actually came in during the summer. So I am just starting that one. So far what I know about it is that it is the story of a boy who had, it's told from his perspective as an older man looking back at his journals from when he was about 13, 14 years old, and just kind of having some regrets about some things and seeing things from a different perspective as an elderly man at this point. And so I haven't gotten very far into it. I think I'm about 3 or 4 chapters in. Tomorrow I start Tide and Punishment. I'll be reading this with Amy C, who is a commenter and subscriber on the channel. And this is by Bree Baker, and I think this is book 4 in the series. And this is the Something Cafe Cozy Mystery Series. Again, I will put the picture up. But yeah, we start that tomorrow, and really looking forward to another cozy mystery. I like reading cozy mysteries when I'm reading things like Borges because it gives my brain a break. Friday, I will be beginning Beasts of Tarzan with Dave and Olive from Book Blather, and I'm very excited to be doing this. Just been hanging out waiting for Dave because he's been going through some stuff, and it's just been so good to read with him on this series. So I don't want to read it without him, and he said that he thinks he's ready. So I am so excited that Friday we will begin the 3rd book in the Tarzan series by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And then I also picked up at the library Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. And this is going to be my mythology square on my bingo board. Did I tell you these others? You guys, I'm so sorry. Knowledge of the Holy is nonfiction square. Labyrinths is one-word title square. Ferris wheel stories is going to go for the author with a summer birthday because Courtney's birthday was this month. In fact, it was Friday the 9th. And then Tide and Punishment is going to be seaside or island setting is what it is. And then I have an S.A. Cosby, I think. Cosby or Crosby, I'm not sure. Book. I have never read an S.A. Crosby or Cosby book, and I am reading it because there is a square that is outside of your comfort zone. And these are very much outside my comfort zone. But I heard really good things about S.A. Cosby's Razor Blade Tears. And that one was checked out, didn't have even a possibility of getting it this summer. I think that it had like 17 weeks worth of waiting. And I thought, well, that's not going to happen. However, they had a brand new one that was coming out, and I got my name on the list in time. And so I will be reading All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby or Crosby for my outside the comfort zone square. So Tarzan is going to be a book that inspired a movie square, and I think that should cover it. Boy, if you guys stuck with me through this, thank you. This was a lot. I was a little all over the place. I'm so sorry. So that is everything from me, you guys. I am very much looking forward to the week ahead and what reading I'm going to be doing. So I hope that you are as well. We have had beautiful weather here. It has been absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving it. I'm just loving it. I love being back in the Northwest and being here for these seasons. So anyway, I will say goodbye there, and I would love if you would give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to. I'll see you in the next video very soon, everyone.